In this tutorial, I am going to show you how to add a sell transaction for a particular customer. So first thing first, we have to open the point of sales interface. There are two ways to do that. I can go to the cell, and under sales, I click POS right here. Or I can go to point of sale shortcut at the top and open the point of sales interface. So right here, we can see the list of all the products. And by default, Stocksavvy, selects working customer, and you can choose to change this customer, to a particular customer. Maybe you want to input the customer's name and also phone number so that whenever you come to the customer's profile, you'll see all the sale transactions and all the payments that they have made. So you want to track a transaction that is specific to a customer, you can filter by the customer's name. So right here we have the drop down. If you want to search for a customer that is already on the system, you can just click this drop down and search for a customer by their names or maybe by their phone number. So right here, I have Harmony on the system. Okay, let me search again. Harmony. Sorry that you can't see what I'm typing. I think the background is black. So right here, we have Harmony on the system, and also we have the phone number. But what if we want to add a new customer that is not on the system? We want to record a new customer's detail on our database. How do we go about that? First step is to click this plus button right here. So when you click this plus button, you will notice that a dialog box will pop up where you can input the customer's detail. Now sometimes this option right here may be disabled. So in that case, you have to contact your system administrator to enable it for you so that you can add customer details while making sales. So when I click this, the dialog box comes up with the customer details form. So in this form, you get to input the customer's name and also the customer's phone number. So currently, if you notice, we are not, seeing where we can input the customer's name or the customer's business name. So that is because the system prompts us to select what type of customer we are adding. So you can choose to add a customer as an individual. So when you're adding a customer as an individual, the customer brings up this form where you can fill in the customer's first name, middle name, last name, and also phone number. Now, some people say, oh, this is a lot of details to request for. But then the only ones that are compulsory on this form are the first name and also the mobile number. So you can also input or fill in the customer's, date of birth. Is up to you. You can input their address. So when I click more information, I think I'm having some issue right here. So I'm going to try again. Let's see. Okay, so in a case where you want to fill in the customer's address, you can scroll down and fill in their address, their city, state, country. If that is important to you, you can also input their opening balance. So the opening balance is the outstanding debt. This is the amount that this customer owes you currently. So if you don't have any previous transactions, previous incompleted transaction with this customer, you can just leave the opening balance at 0. So, but the two most important fields, like I said, are the first name and also the mobile number. So for this instance, I'm going to use Praise as the first name of the customer, Praise Chinedu as the middle name. So Praise Chinedu, that is the first name and also the middle name of the customer. Then for the phone number, I can use any phone number, but make sure that in your case, you're using the actual phone number of the customer. So I'll just use this for the tutorial. Okay, so now I can scroll down and save. Now, if this customer is a business entity, I'm also going to show you how to add this customer as a business entity, because sometimes you may be transacting with a customer as a business entity. So in that case, you don't have to add the first name or the last name. Rather, you will need to add the business name. So if you're adding a business entity, you just have to choose business from this option right here and input the business details. That is it. So after that, we'll scroll down here and select the items that we want to sell to this customer. So if you look at here, you will notice that the name of the customer has changed from working customer to the actual name of the customer that we are selling to. So we can search for an item from here, or we can just select from these options we have here. So I'm selling this. Okay, we are out of stock for this one. Let's use this. Okay, so for this customer we are selling, let me add more items here. Let me add more items. So for this customer we are selling 3 different items, and the total worth of what we are selling to the customer is 18,450 naira. So this means that when we are done, this transaction will be saved on the customer's profile. So if we want to maybe make reference to it or revisit this transaction, we can go to this customer's profile and we'll see this transaction there. So let's go to multiple pay. Now this customer made a purchase of 18,450 naira, but the customer wants to make part payments. So by part payment, I mean customer wants to make a payment that is less than the total payable. The total payable is the total worth of what the customer is buying, and the total paying is how much the customer wants to pay right now. So let's say the customer wants to pay, but the customer wants to make a payment of 8,000 naira. Now, when I click anywhere on the screen, just watch the balance due. This balance due is going to increase to 10,450 naira. This is the amount the customer is supposed to balance us before this transaction can be completed. So in this case, the customer just wants to make a payment of 8,000 naira. I'll come back maybe next time. It could be next week, next month, doesn't, depending on the agreement you have with the customer. So they want to come back later and complete the payment for this particular transaction. So I can just click save. Also, don't forget to select the payment method. So it could be, any of these. So this means that this customer currently owes us 10,450. So on the invoice, you can see the details we have here. So we have the total paid. We also have the total due. I don't know if this is visible enough, but that is exactly what the invoice is showing us here. So let's go back to our previous sales. So going back to our previous sales, you'll notice that all the previous transactions that we've had is showing paid. They are all showing paid except for this last one that I did, because the customer did not make a full payment, and the payment status is showing partial because this customer still has outstanding debt at this particular transaction. So we can choose to receive payment for this particular transaction simply by going to actions and add payments. So let's say this customer comes back next time. Customer comes back not to complete the payment, rather to make an extra payment of 5,000 naira. So 5,000 naira to reduce the amount they are currently owing us. How do we go about that? So you can click actions right here and select add payment. So this is going to bring up another dialog box where you get to input the method of the payment, the date of the payment, and also the amount paid by this customer. And if there is a payment note that you may want to, record right here, you can also type inside this box. So let's say this customer comes back to make payment of 5,000 naira. Remember, the customer is owing us 10,450, but the customer wants to make a payment of 5,000 naira. Let's save this. So as you can see, this transaction is still showing us partial because the customer has not completed payments on this particular transaction. And also, when you scroll to the right hand side, you'll notice that the sell due is showing us 5,450. So this means that this customer is still owing, us the amount of 5,450 naira. So let's make another sell to this customer. Maybe let's assume that this customer is back to our store next time, and he or she wants to, okay, in this case, he wants to buy an item, what more than what he is owing, and also makes part payment. So we can go back here. Now we don't have to add this customer again. We don't have to go through this process of filling in the customer's first name, blah blah blah. Because when you do that, you're going to have a duplicated record of this customer, and then the system will not be able to track it efficiently because it's going to be showing you, the same customer with like different customer with the same name. So you don't want such a thing happening, right? So you want to go back here and search for the customer by their name or their phone number. So in my case, I'm going to type praise. So the system already has their record. So we select from this option here. And if you notice, the customer due is showing 5,450 naira. So the system shows you the amount they are currently owing. The system shows you the amount that they are currently owing. So you can see that this customer currently owes us 5,450 naira. So we can choose to proceed with this current transaction, or we can just remind them that they are owing us the amount of 5,450 naira. But in this case, we just want to make another sell under their name. So let's pick more products here. Let's select this. I think they want to buy this. Okay, let's say they want to, oh, that's 20,000 naira. So let's say they want to buy 2 pieces of this. That is 40,000 naira. And make a payment of 20,000 naira. So let me show you. So right here, we can see that the amount they want to pay is 20,000 naira, and the total payable, that is the amount they are supposed to pay, or the amount of goods that we deliver to them, or the amount of goods that they are buying, is worth 40,000 naira, and the amount they are owing is 20,000 naira because they are making a payment of 20,000 naira. So when we save this is going to be saved under their name, and when we go back to our previous transactions, if you look here, you will notice that we have 2 transactions under this customer's name, and both of them are showing partial. This one is showing 40,000 naira as the total amount, and the total paid so far is 20,000 naira. Then the total sale due, that is the amount they owe, is 20,000 naira, and this one is showing 5,450 naira. So we can receive more payments from this customer simply by going to going here and selecting the payment method. That is, if they come back next time to make a payment, maybe they want us to apply this new payment to the first invoice, you get, or maybe they want us to apply the payment to the second invoice. Now in a case where this customer is back but they want to make a full payment, let's say the customer wants to first of all find out how much they are owing, because sometimes the customer will come back and say, how much is my bill? In that case, you want to tell them the total amount they are owing. Now you may want to sum this up, but that is a lot of work, because when you have a lot of transactions that are incompleted by a particular customer, you may want to start adding everything up so that you get the total amount. And also, what if they make a payment of since they are owing 5,450 naira and 20,000 naira here, what if they make a payment of 15,000 naira? How do you apply it to these particular invoices? Would you start using your calculator to subtract 5,450 from 15,000 naira and applying the remaining balance to this? Is a lot of work, right? Because when you have these transactions here, you need a way to know the actual amount that the customer is owing, and you also need a way to apply any payment the customer made directly to their account. So the best way to go about that is by going to the contacts. So when you look here, you will notice that we have contacts. If you're unable to find this on your account, it simply means that it has not been enabled. Okay. So when you go to contacts, you will notice that we have suppliers. We also have customers. So you open your customers list, and then right here you will see that we have I think we have about 9 customers. This is the working customer. So we have extra 8 customers that have been added. And then when you check right here, we have this column that is called total sale due. So the total sale due will show you the total amount every customer is owing. This is what you need to see, because the customer comes back and they want to know their total bill. This is what this is the information they need. You just tell them your total debt is 25,450, and if they're making a payment of maybe 15,000 naira, you don't want to go back to the invoices and start applying the 15,000 naira one by one to all the invoices. No, you can just simply go here, make sure that you're on the same row with that customer's name. So here we have this name here, so you can just go here and add payment. So you can just click pay. This is going to bring up the same dialog that you used to input your payment, and you choose the payment method. So we have GTB, we have other payment methods here. So let's say this 15,000 naira was made through Zenith Bank, and also we have the payment date. So you can choose a specific date here, but since I'm making this video today and all the transactions, I'm just assuming that all these transactions were made today, so I'm just going to be using today's date. Then the amount is the amount that the customer has paid. This is the amount that the customer has paid you. So you want to impute the actual amount, because this customer is owing us 25,450, but the customer wants to pay 15,000 naira. So if this customer pays 15,000 naira, that means that they will still be owing us, but we won't know until we save. So let's save this, and boom, the payment has been saved, and we want to know how much is the total balance remaining. So let's go back here under total sale due, and you will notice that we have a total sale due of 10,450. So this is what the customer is owing us. Now, what about our invoices? The ones that are showing paid, the ones that are showing partially paid. What do they look like now? So let's go back to our list POS and check our previous sales. So if you check here, you will notice that this particular one is showing paid. So that means that the system applies the payment according to the order of the transaction. So out of that 15,000 naira, 5,450 was applied to this one here before we now apply the remaining balance to this particular one. So let's go here and see more details about this particular transaction. If I go to view, so this is more of the information we have concerning this transaction, and the payment info is showing that first we made a payment of 8,000 naira, 5,000 naira, and 5,450. So that means the system applied this payment accordingly. So we have a payment of 5,450, and that is why it's showing that this transaction has been completely paid for. So now we have this one. Let's open, which is showing us a payment. The first payment made was 20,000 naira, and the last payment made was 9,550. And that is why the total sell due is showing 10,450.
Stocksavvy.